Okay, we've literally all felt this pain, right? You pour your absolute heart into a piece of content, you spend hours tweaking every single frame, optimizing the hook, and then you hit publish. And what happens? Absolute silence. Zero views. It is the universal creator struggle, and honestly, it's incredibly demotivating. But what if you could just take the guesswork completely out of the equation? In this explainer, we are unpacking the ultimate data-backed playbook to help you take back control. We're going to decode exactly what the platforms are asking for in 2026, and more importantly, how you can give it to them without completely burning out in the process.
So here's our game plan for today. We're solving this puzzle piece by piece. First up, Instagram's peak engagement windows. 2, cracking YouTube Shorts. 3, the 100K subscriber blueprint. And finally, creating content without burnout. All right, let's jump right into section 1, Instagram's peak engagement windows.
Look, when it comes to Instagram, the data reveals something pretty fascinating. While relevance is obviously important, recency is what actually dictates your initial reach. If you want that early momentum, you literally have to hit publish exactly when your audience is actively scrolling. Sprout Social actually analyzed nearly 2 billion engagements, yes, with a B, for their 2026 report, and the global baseline is incredibly clear. The overall best times to post? Tuesdays and Wednesdays between 12 p.m. and 9 p.m. local time. You see, the algorithm is constantly watching for engagement velocity. That's basically how fast people interact with your post the second it goes live. By hitting the feed during the lunch rush or that dreaded afternoon slump, you're triggering instant algorithmic distribution simply because your audience is already on their phones looking for a quick mental break.
But honestly, the data gets even more granular than that because user habits shift dramatically depending on the industry. Like, if you're in retail, your golden window is the weekday lunch rush from 12 p.m. to 3 p.m. You're capturing that midday shopping momentum. Healthcare audiences, they're active pretty much throughout the entire workday, 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. Education peaks right at 11 a.m. on Tuesdays and Wednesdays. But look at finance. This is wild. They have massive spikes at 3 a.m. and 6 a.m. because presumably their audience is panic-checking global markets before they've even had their morning coffee. It's really all about finding your specific peak posting window based on when your unique audience is naturally reaching for their phone.
Now, if we zoom out to look at the full week, there is a massive drop-off as the days progress. Midweek is your absolute peak. Friday kind of tapers off, and the weekend, it totally flatlines. Saturday literally yields the lowest overall engagement of the entire week. So the big takeaway here is super simple. Save your best high-value visual assets for the work week. If you drop your absolute best stuff on a Sunday, it's probably going to get buried before your audience ever logs back in on Monday afternoon.
Okay, let's pivot over to section 2, cracking YouTube Shorts.
So, unlike long-form video, short-form algorithms do not care about your subscriber count at all. They care purely about behavioral signals. Which leads us to this incredibly common, super frustrating scenario. Have you ever uploaded a short, it gets exactly 47 views or maybe 200 views, and then it just instantly dies? It kind of feels like a glitch, right? Or like the platform is intentionally limiting your reach, but there's actually a very specific mechanical reason behind it. It turns out it all comes down to the explore and exploit system. When you hit publish, YouTube doesn't just broadcast your short to everyone. Instead, in that first hour, it enters the explore phase. It presents your video to a tiny, highly targeted seed audience. And the algorithm judges your content entirely on how this small test group reacts. Do they watch the whole thing? Do they swipe away immediately? If that seed audience engages, boom, the algorithm moves to the exploit phase, rapidly pushing it out to a much broader audience. But if they don't engage, distribution stops entirely. And yep, that right there is your 47-view flatline.
And to make things just a little bit more complex, there was an absolutely crucial update in March 2025. YouTube now firmly distinguishes between raw views and engaged views. You see, because a short loops automatically, someone just leaving their phone on the kitchen table could rack up passive replays, artificially inflating your raw view count. But now, only engaged views, meaning someone interacts meaningfully or watches well beyond those first few seconds, only those actually matter for your long-term algorithmic reach and, of course, your revenue payouts.
So, what are the specific behavioral signals this machine uses to decide your fate? Well, here are the big 5. Number 1, completion rate. Do they actually sit and finish the video? Number 2 is engagement velocity. How quickly do they hit like or drop a comment after watching? Number 3 is subscriber conversion rate. If your short convinces a viewer to hit subscribe, the algorithm absolutely loves it. Number 4 is rewatch rate. And finally, number 5 is your like-to-view ratio. But listen, the ultimate decider is your hook. Because if you have a high swipe away rate in the first 3 seconds, none of those other metrics even get a chance to save your reach.
All right, let's look at a wild, real-world example in Section 3, the 100K subscriber blueprint. To see exactly how perfectly these metrics can be manipulated, just look at the staggering number, 100,000. That is how many subscribers a brand new, completely faceless YouTube channel gained in just 10 days. They went from 0 to 100K using only 43 short videos, generating well over 500,000 views a day. And the craziest part? They did it entirely by selling simple, cheap bubble guns they ordered off the internet.
So how did they actually pull this off? With a genius, if slightly shameless, script hack. The video would literally just show the product in action, and the voiceover simply says, "Just subscribe, then watch my video 3 times to get a free bubble gun." I know, it's almost hilariously simple, but it specifically targets a younger demographic and gives the viewer a highly direct reason to stay on the video, loop it multiple times, and hit that subscribe button.
And the result of that simple trick is just wild. By explicitly asking for those loops, this creator completely broke the algorithm's rewatch rate and completion rate metrics. Think about it. A standard short might retain 60% of its audience. A really good short might hit 85%. But these bubblegun shorts, they were hitting average view durations of over 140%, with some literally peaking above 200%. This made the algorithm go absolutely nuts, forcing the system to push the content to millions of feeds because it signaled unbelievable audience retention. It really is a masterclass in giving the machine exactly what it wants.
Which brings us to our final part, Section 4, Content Creation Without Burnout. The harsh reality is, to find winning formats like that bubblegun, you just have to test constantly. The algorithm basically demands daily uploads so it can learn your audience, and that is leading to massive creator burnout. But as Miraflow's analysis brilliantly points out, consistency creates familiarity. Familiarity creates trust. Trust creates engagement. Daily uploads aren't just some exhausting treadmill you're stuck on. They are essential data points that accelerate your channel's learning. Every single short helps YouTube learn faster what topics perform best, exactly who your audience is, and what hooks actually work. Plus, you drastically reduce the risk of a single video bombing simply because you always have another one ready to go.
So how do you actually feed this machine without ruining your life? You have to use systems. Take this weekend batching workflow, sourced from a super successful Reddit creator who generates a full month of short-form content in a single day. Here's how they do it. Step 1. Block 6 to 8 hours on a Sunday. Step 2. Pre-plan 20 hooks and ideas using a basic template. Step 3. Film everything in one continuous session. Do not stop to review. And Step 4. Use assembly line editing to chop your post-production time in half. By batching your tasks, you completely eliminate the exhaustion of context switching.
Now, if manual batching still sounds a bit exhausting, well, we are officially entering a new paradigm. Prompt first generation. Instead of the grueling traditional workflow of writing, shooting, finding visuals, and editing every single video, AI tools like Text-to-Shorts by Miraflow or vidIQ's Clipmaker are completely removing that production bottleneck. With just a single text prompt, or even by just uploading an existing long-form video, these tools instantly handle the script, the visuals, the voiceover, and the formatting. It completely shifts your role from an exhausted editor to a creative director, freeing you up to focus purely on testing great ideas at scale.
And that brings us to the end of our explainer. We've explored the data, we've pinpointed the exact engagement windows, and we've decoded the explore and exploit mechanics of short-form algorithms. The systems are all laid out right here in front of you. So the only question left is, are you going to keep letting the algorithm control you, frustrating you with those 47-view flatlines? Or are you ready to use data, batching, and AI to finally take the reins, control the algorithm, and get the organic reach you actually deserve? The playbook is yours, so what are you going to build with it?